Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, hopefully most of you have survived the winter storm. Did you see some of the maps on this showing that this storm that's come through and dropped snow and ice and sleet and cold weather over a large portion of the United States extended for over 2,000 miles from all the way down into southwest Texas on the Mexican border to all the way up into Maine. It was a pretty significant storm there, and maybe it's natural, maybe it's grand solar minimum, maybe it's weather manipulation, but either way, it was pretty significant, and hopefully all of you fared fairly well with it. I have heard of power outages and stuff in certain parts of the country, but from what I understand, most of the country has done pretty good. I want to talk about several things today. Before I get going on that, though, I want to mention to you, if you're looking for a place on the internet to talk with other like-minded people that's free, that they're not going to steal a bunch of information, they're not going to, censor what you're saying, then guess what? Here at the Prepared Homestead, we have our own social media site. Yeah, it's a social media network. In fact, it functions much like Facebook. It's called TPH Network, or the Prepared Homestead Network. There's a link down in the description it's an invite link that you can use, or you can just type in tphnetwork.com. And there are, I think, about 3,000 people over there, or pretty close to that. And just every day, lots of conversations. There's little subgroups that you can join, or you can start your own. You can promote and talk about your business. Maybe you're selling stuff. You can ask questions. You can share ideas. You can meet others. It's free. I fund it. And I figure that's just the easiest way to do it and not have to worry about advertisers and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if people want to purchase something through one of my links or make a donation to support the site, they can do that, but there's no requirement or even request to do something like that. But anyways, if you go over to tphnetwork.com or click on the invite link down in the description, you can be part of this. It's pretty cool. It's growing. There's private chats, all kinds of stuff. There's even an app that you can download to use for it, and that's tphnetwork.com. This whole trucker thing, it's getting pretty big deal. There's thousands, tens of thousands. I don't think anyone knows the exact numbers. I've seen numbers anywhere between 50 and 100,000 up in Canada, and maybe a few tens of thousands here in the United States, 10 to 20,000 or so. But they're causing a lot of stir. There have been calls within the government to use the military of Canada to stop this. The police chief in Ottawa has said that they will investigate and prosecute any police officer that renders any kind of aid to these truckers, if they even giving them water. I thought, and maybe it's different up in Canada. For you Canadians that watch, tell me if I'm wrong, but I thought it was kind of the same way up there as it is down here, that the police are supposed to protect and serve. Protect people's rights to protest and to serve people when they're in need of help. And so here we've got a police chief that's saying, no, that's not right. The police job is to protect the banking interests and protect the interest of the politicians and the big government. So don't go helping these people. And for those of you that's considered donating to this cause, they have a GoFundMe site, but I want to caution you, GoFundMe has suspended the donations and the fundraisers that they've got going on there on GoFundMe, and they're saying that they're going to start refunding all the money. They don't want you donating to this kind of stuff. I mean, it's okay if you donate to a BLM GoFundMe page. That's good. That's a good thing to do, so that they can go and burn buildings down and knock statues over and destroy things and that kind of stuff. That's okay. But you cannot donate to something like this through GoFundMe. it's time that people start creating and using alternative sites like this. We've just, got to stop doing it. I don't know how. I'm not an expert on this. There's probably, I would assume, there's got to be some type of fundraising site, some type of crowd fundraising site that's an alternative that you can use. They're claiming that the trucker convoy is going to happen here in the United States, starting in California and going all the way to Washington, D.C. Now, my facts may not be correct on this, but from what I understand, they're planning on doing this March 1st. There may be reasons that have been given that I'm not aware of, but that just, I just think that they're waiting too late. If they're going to do this, they need to do it while the heat is hot with the Canadian. By waiting another month, a lot of things can happen. A lot of things can happen between now and then. Governments, they kind of tend to move slow, and it's given the government just enough time to prepare for this and to shut it down potentially before it even gets started. And then that's not to say that the truckers that, they're just like any of the rest of us. We're in the heat of the moment. It's emotional. They want to get involved. A month from now, it may have fizzled out by then, and a lot less truckers would be involved. So I don't know why they're waiting a whole month, or at least any legitimate reason, but apparently that's what they're saying. They're going to wait till March 1st to do a trucker convoy here. I've seen reports in other countries that they're doing it also. But like I've been saying, as good as this is for waking people up, remember that it's going to continually affect the already broken down supply chain. So keep getting yourselves prepared, folks, because it's just getting worse. Speaking of that, and I've kind of been talking about it the last couple of days about you preparedness folks, you homesteaders, you survivalists, you self-sufficient folk, whatever you call yourself. A lot of them go by different names. Got to be serious about this. What's going on is very serious. And I think too many times people just, they get a little serious for a while and then they kind of lose, interest. Other things happen in their lives. Other things happen in the news. Maybe they jumped the gun and went out and started buying up stuff because something in the news was really scary. And then that kind of passed and they thought, well, maybe it's not as bad as what I thought. Maybe I've still got time. I can kind of slow down. That's what they want you to think, folks. They want you to think that you've got plenty of time. They want you to be off guard. They want it to be like a frog in a boiling pan, They want it to just be slowly turned up on you. And that's exactly what's happening. That's why it's taken so long, it seems like, to get some of this stuff. Even though the changes are happening rapidly, it just seems like, we're just around the corner of complete totalitarian, rule, but yet it's just not quite there yet. They're just waiting. They're waiting till enough people have been brainwashed, waiting till enough people have just bought it hook, line, and sinker, the whole narrative from start to finish, before they really start cracking down on people. There's too much evidence of this, folks. Being prepared, and however you want to call it, I think over at Viking Preparedness, he calls it neo-pioneers. That's a pretty good term, too. Being prepared it's kind of like watching, for some of you folks that are on the coast and you deal with hurricanes. We don't have those here, but you see it coming. It's coming. I mean, before you can even see it, it's in the news. And then at some point, they're pretty good at determining where it's going to make landfall. And if you're in the path of that, most people don't just sit around and say, well, I'm gonna wait, not gonna do anything just yet. And it starts getting windy and starts to storm a little bit. Like, well, it's not here yet. I've got some time. I've got a few things. I've done a few things, but there's something on TV I want to watch. I've got to go to a ball game, and I've still got a little time. And then you can start to see the wind blow, and the waves are coming in, and I've still got a little time. And then you decide, once it's finally hit, and there's, boards flying through windows and cars getting flipped over, well, I guess it's time that I get myself prepared. That's not how most people do it. Most people don't do that. They get it prepared ahead of time because they know that when it finally starts to happen, it's kind of too late at that point to get prepared. And for those of you that have experienced things like that, or wildfires or other types of disasters, you may not live with that fear every day, but you know when that time comes, you're serious about it because you know how devastating it is. Well, folks, that's kind of what we're living in right now. We see it coming. We've heard all the signs that are telling us in the news every day for the last few years of what they're doing. We see everything that they're saying that they're planning on doing. We see the changes happen around us. We see laws change. We see, the things that they're doing to manipulate the economy. We see how they're manipulating the people, how they're basically brainwashing the people to buy into some, false narrative that's been proven over and over again to just be basically false. We see this happening. And most people should say, this isn't very good. I need to get ready, and I need to be serious about it, and I need to buckle down and really take this serious. Unfortunately, too many people, even amongst our own community of preparedness and survival and homesteading and stuff like that, aren't taking it as serious as they probably should. They're still hoping they have enough time to live their normal life, and that they'll have enough time, that there'll certainly be something happen. There'll certainly be something that happens that's kind of that indicator that it's finally taking place. And then I'll get ready. Then I'll run out. I'll have enough time to run out and stock up on things. I'll have enough time to get my stuff ready. Then I can start getting my books out and reading on how to do stuff. I've bought all these seeds, and when the time comes and when things get really bad and all the stores are shut down or I can't go to them because I don't have the right paperwork, then I'm going to get out there and I'm going to plant me a garden. Folks, that's not how it works. You need to be ready ahead of time. There was someone that commented on that just the other day. I noticed in the comments of a video, laughing that it was ridiculous that all you preparers, get ready ahead of time. You got time. Just, when it happens, deal with it. Well, that's not being prepared. And if you're not prepared in crises like what we're going through right now, the repercussions aren't getting blown away in a storm or being consumed necessarily in a forest fire. The repercussions is that you're going to be really hurting. You're going to need food. You're going to need medicine. You're going to need shelter. You're going to need heat. You're going to need protection. You're going to need the basics of life, the basic necessities. And if you can't provide them to yourself, for yourself, then you're going to go somewhere else, because you're not just going to sit there and watch your children go hungry and get cold and know that you can't protect yourself. You're eventually going to be destitute enough that you're going to take the free handouts that are given to you. And when you do so, that's when you have become a complete slave. That's what they hope for. That's why they've got, this push for everyone to just comply. It doesn't matter if it makes sense, folks. It doesn't matter if science even is saying something else. It doesn't matter. Just comply, because they know what's best for you, and that's all they want. They just want to get to where you are complying with them. And if that's not what you want to do, then you need to be prepared. You need to be ready. You need to be ready to take care of your family, not just for a few days or a few weeks, but you need to really be ready. You need to be ready to not just have food in the storage pantry, but you need to be ready to raise your own food. You need to be ready to live outside of the system, outside of the infrastructure. Because if you're dependent upon that and it gets taken away from you and you have nowhere else to turn and you have nothing else to fall back on, then you'll find yourself at their gates, begging for their assistance, begging for their handouts, needing their medicine, needing their food. And then that all comes at a high cost. There may be some of you that are saying, man, this guy is a crackpot. I mean, this is like really crazy stuff. It's not really, because it's happened before in history. And it's certainly happening now in some places, and it will continue to happen. It's not as crazy as you think it is. And if you're serious about your freedom, if you're serious about, not taking their mark and getting their papers, then folks, you need to be serious about survival and preparations and being self-sufficient, and not just look at it as something you do occasionally when you have free time. Get serious about it. Learn your skills now, because you're not going to have time to do that when the time comes to actually need it. You're going to be really hurting if you're going to wait until the balloon goes up to finally start getting prepared and learning how to do the things that you need to do to stay alive. Do the things now, folks. Thank you all for watching. Catch you in the next video.